Hey, it's Andy. Welcome to a very different episode of Different Strings podcast. It's just me, no Wes. Um, and this is not going to be your usual episode. This is a very specific episode. I'm doing this for a very specific reason. And that reason is to one, apologize for our lack of uploads, or at least the lack of consistency in uploads recently. And I feel, I guess, a little obligated to the people that enjoy the podcast and look forward to episodes that just explain what's going on. Um, and then I'm get a little bit into why there's been some inconsistency, and hopefully just try to help everyone understand what's going on and what we're looking to do to get back to a rhythm. So, the first thing I wanted to do is actually apologize. So, I am very sorry on behalf of Wes and I. We're both very sorry that we have been not as consistent with our uploads as we would like. There's been a lot going on in both of our personal and professional lives, and um, we unfortunately have had a little bit of destabilization in some facets of our lives, and so we apologize. We want to get back to a normal cadence of uploads, um, and get back to putting out good content for you guys. So yeah, we're both sorry. Well, I know I'm sorry. I won't speak for Wes, but I wanted to do this because the podcast was sort of, well, it was my idea. Um, and even though I consider Wes to be the host and I'm just the color person, I'm the co-host. Um, I have some ownership, and I wanted to own the fact that we've been um, just going through, just difficult times, good things, I guess, but also some difficult times. And that's why we've been inconsistent lately. So, also just know that I do all the administrative stuff, which isn't much, to be honest. I'm not. If you listen to the episodes, I don't spend a whole lot of time editing. I like to keep them raw and real, and so they're not super polished. But I do have to edit them a little bit. There's an intro and an outro. I do edit some things out, and also have to do the uploads and the artwork and all that. So anyway, so what's been going on? So I won't speak for Wes. I know he's got his own thing, but I can tell you what's going on with me. And the first thing is some professional news. So I may have talked about it in the podcast. I don't remember, honestly. But in my career, there's been some destabilization. So my company was going through some rounds of layoffs just to make themselves more market competitive. Um, and in March, I was notified that I would be impacted, and I was given 60 days notice. So my separation date was going to be May 10th. And I'm pretty sure, unfortunately, that a lot of you know what it means to be laid off. It is, well, I mean, it's very difficult, it's challenging, it's emotional. Um, Looking for work is very challenging. um, it takes up a lot of your time. It can be just constant rejection, and it's unstabilizing. So um, I starting in March, I really had to focus on finding work. It was a priority, and I have family to support. I have bills to pay, and my health, and all of those things have to be a priority. So looking for work became number one priority. Now, I do have good news. In in the week leading up to what was to be my separation date, which was May 10th, at the 11th hour, I got an offer from one of the jobs that I posted for internally at my company. So the the separation was discontinued. I did not get my severance. I did not become unemployed. And I started my new job the following Monday. So if my separation date was the 10th, that would be the 13th. I started my new job on the 13th. And that's great news. Also, a little destabilizing. It's a new job and a new organization in the company doing something I've never done before, for people I've never worked with. I'm not the expert. I'm not the go-to. I have a lot to learn. It's exciting, challenging in its own way. I'm really happy to be back, but you know, getting up to speed in the new job has been a priority. So the next thing that's happened is I moved. So I don't know if you can tell by the background, it's a little different, but I did move. So a couple of weeks ago, well, I'll back up. So maybe over a month ago, I started looking for a new place. And again, I'm sure some of you can relate. Looking for a house or an apartment in this current market is it's soul sucking. It's a nightmare. Rents have gone through the roof, mortgages as well. And so I've spent a lot of time looking for a place. I did get very lucky with the place I have right now. Um, and a couple of weeks ago, I started the move-in process. So I'm almost done. I'm not living out of boxes right now. Yay. So that's good. But I do have to get the place sort of set up. So I'm not sure for podcasting if I'm going to continue to have, my kitchen in the background. I may put something behind me to, you know, I don't know, zhuzh it up a little. But for now, I've moved. So that's also a good thing. Um, Another thing that's happened, and I guess this is also really good news, and we have talked about it on a recent episode. I don't know if you've heard it yet, but both Wes and I have found new bands. So that's pretty awesome. Um, Wes, well, Wes joined a surf band, and I joined a uh, cover band that does 90s music, and that's all 90s music. So rock, rap, country, alternative, anything from the 90s. And it's a load of fun. The people are awesome. You'll hear me talk about the experience if you haven't already in an upcoming episode. Um, the people are amazing. I love playing the music. It's a great atmosphere and it's super cool. So again, for me, the cover band is a potential money-making opportunity, and I have a commitment to the rest of the band to, do my thing, learn all the material. There's a lot of material. I did take quite a few years off from playing, so I'm a little rusty, unfortunately, but they have been very gracious in giving me the time I need to ramp up. So, but I need to get on it. So I've been taking time to learn songs. Let's see what else is going on. Well, okay, real talk. Why is my tuner clipped to my finger? Okay, that's weird. Um, Unless you've been living under a rock and not really paying attention, you might have noticed some changes in me. So I'm going to rip the band-aid off. In January of this year, January 11th to be exact, um, I discovered that I am transgender. Okay. Um, so yeah, that's big news. And it feels really weird saying it out loud and knowing that this is going to be posted on the internet. Um, so my story goes back many years, and I will save that for my TED talk. But um, so when I discovered that I was transgender in January, um, first of all, it was amazing, scary, and very destabilizing. Um, there's a lot going on, and out of respect for my family's privacy, there's some things I just can't and don't want to share. Um, but I can share my perspective. So I'm in my 50s, and I'll leave it at that. Um, and I had no clue who I was for all of that time. Um, and realizing in January that I identify as female, um, it started some things on a deeply personal and emotional level. And one of the things it started was an immediate emotional transition. So I pretty quickly started to transition um, in how I dress, how I present, how I show myself to the world, keep it clean, how I put myself out there. I embraced this very quickly and very completely because it felt right. My journey is different from everybody else's. Everyone's journey is different, and but I embraced this very quickly. So it it started some things, and transitioning, at least for me, is not going to be easy. It hasn't been easy, but I'm fully committed to it. Um, and the thing is that we haven't really been talking about it on the podcast because why would we? Right? There's the thought that, well, we do a guitar podcast. Your transition is your transition. It's sort of irrelevant. And I can understand that point of view. And that's me talking to myself, by the way. Wes didn't say that to me. He would never. Um, we do a guitar podcast, and I'm a guitar player, and my gender is irrelevant to that. How I identify is irrelevant to how I feel about music, right? It doesn't really matter. And that's kind of what we've been saying all along is that you can be a guitar player and be whoever you want to be, young, old, male, female, and anything in between, right? There is no binary. So it's not relevant. You're a guitar player, you're a musician, you're a lover of music, you're a bass player or a drummer listening. Why? But okay. It doesn't matter how you identify, and it doesn't matter how I identify. Um, but then there's the other side of it. And that side is, we've been talking about equality and gatekeeping and bullying, and maybe, maybe my story can help someone. It's not why I'm doing this, but it could help someone, right? Are you listening and questioning your gender? Are you struggling with some sort of emotional health challenge? Um, it happens to all of us. And, you know, guitar and music is important, but, you come first. Our health comes first. Our happiness has to come first. And I had to put my happiness first when I came out. And so I feel like I'm rambling a little. I'm trying to justify why I'm talking about this. I'm talking about it because it's affecting my life, doctor's appointments and um, money that I'm spending as part of my transition and time. Um, and I also kind of feel like I owe it to the people that listen to be transparent and authentic. So while we may not talk about the fact that I'm transitioning on the podcast, we're not going to avoid the topic either. Um, Wes treats me like female because that's how I see myself. And he's been incredibly supportive, and I love him for it. Um, And I'm going to continue to transition, and you may see changes, and not just in my wigs. You may see changes in me. My voice may change, my appearance may change. Um, but I'll tell you what's not going to change is how I feel about music and how I feel about doing this podcast, which is I love it. Um, I really do. It allows me to stay close to music and guitar, even if I can't be completely connected to guitar. Like when I took the long break, the podcast helped bring me back to music. And I really enjoy sharing what knowledge and experience I have. And I like having weekly or bi-weekly conversations with Wes about stuff. Like I just enjoy what we do. We don't know everything. Everything we say is our opinion. Um, but we love it and we want to get back to it. So um, I'm hoping that things stabilize soon, um, in my personal life and professional life and with my band so that we can devote more time to this because we want to keep doing it, for you and for us too. We really want to keep doing it. We just have to find the time. And so, what would be important to me, what would I really appreciate is since I'm only putting this on YouTube, if you could like and also leave me comments, um, with suggestions or topic ideas or feedback. Um, do you want me to do more episodes about um, my transition as it pertains to music, the community, what I'm seeing in clubs? Do you want to see more stuff like this from me and from Wes, non guitar related, personal stuff, emotional health journey stuff, um, non political stuff? Never going to do that. But happy to talk about our personal lives. Well, at least I am. I'm in somewhat of an open book. Yeah, like tell us what you want and we can make it happen. I kind of like this little format. Um, I miss having Wes and I don't want to not do the normal podcast, but I would be open to doing stuff like this if it means something to someone. So let me know. Um, and again, I apologize for the lack of uploads or the consistency. Um, I'm going to try to do a better job of making myself more available, and Wes and I will try to get back on in a cadence. And thank you for listening and for all of your support and continuing to be a part of the community. It means a lot to me. Um, and yeah, thank you. And we love you. Okay, bye.